Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Elba Film Festival.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's so beautiful here.
I know.
I was like, I got a room with a view. You know that film, A Room with a View? Well,
Every direction you look here, it's a view. So
yeah, that's
it's
true.
really, really beautiful and nice.
Yeah.
So what's your name?
It's Alice Lauren Lee, but I go by A.L. Lee.
A.L. Lee.
Yeah.
And what made you make the movie that you made, and what's the name of your film?
Okay. The name of the film is Artemis and the Astronaut. It's a film about love between two people who are in their 80s, and one of them, the husband, has Alzheimer's and he passed away, and so the whole film takes place after he's passed away, and she has to deal with the silence of the house and all the things that remind her of her husband. But I didn't want to make a sad film, and I didn't want to make a clinical film about Alzheimer's. So it's mostly about the little moments, you know, and what happens when she has to deal with the fact that she's going to have to leave the house, and all of these thoughts are in her head, and she hits her head, and when she wakes up, there's a person in the house, and she hears him crying, and it sounds like her husband. And when she goes to him, she realizes that he's wearing an astronaut suit, and she can't see his face, but he sounds just like her husband. His crying sounds just like it, and everything reminds her that this might be her husband. So she tries to go to him and tries to get him to take off the helmet, but he refuses. And so this comes from the fact that when people have Alzheimer's, sometimes they'll wear the same shirt 3 or 4 or 5 days in a row, and you just can't get them to take it off. And so I had this idea that it's everything that you see is everything that she experienced with him as his disease progressed. And so the helmet maybe replaces the idea of a shirt or a pair of shoes or something. But
Looking forward to seeing this film. It sounds really interesting.
oh, thank you.
That's a beautiful way of explaining a sickness like that, and it's really important to talk about it. And I'm wondering if you have any funny moments or any anecdotes about like the making of the film, because I know it's not easy. There's always obstacles.
Yeah. Well, our biggest obstacle, bar none, was the reflective visor. It's gold, and you could see everyone, everything. So we had to hide the camera, we had to hide the crew, we had to hide the lights, and basically we had to make sure that Artemis, who's played by the fabulous Lynn Cohen, you might know her from Sex and the City. She played Magda, the housekeeper. She was also in Hunger Games. She played, I forgot the character's name, but she doesn't speak in this character, and it's the one that's on the island. And so it was just, every day was a challenge, and my cinematographer is amazing because he basically lit it so that he wouldn't have to stop and relight, and we could just have the freedom to move around. And he would often hide the camera in a doorway, and sometimes he would put a little black curtain so that, you know, because almost all the action takes place at nighttime, you could almost, you know, think of it as being a dark room on the other side. But yeah, and it was crazy. I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Well, you live and you learn, huh?
Yeah,
what
really.
to do and what to do.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? Do you have any projects lined up?
Yeah, so this was actually, Artemis and the Astronaut was part of a trilogy. So the first one that I wrote and made is called The Good Boy. And it's about a boxing film. It was a boxing film, but it's about morality. Now, how do we justify to ourselves to do something that we know, in our heart of hearts, no doubt, is wrong? We say, my honor's at stake, my religion's at stake, my money, you know, my friendship with somebody is at stake. So I need to do this very bad thing that I know I shouldn't do. And it was just a great experience. We had so much fun making that film. There were 4 leads, there were 11 background actors, and it was just the most fun we'd ever had. All the background actors came up to me afterwards and thanked me for choosing them to be in the film.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. So that was supposed to be hell. And Artemis and the Astronaut is supposed to be heaven. And then the third one, I thought, oh man, I need a purgatory. So the first thing that popped into my head was Purgatory, a love story. Because I believe all love stories are purgatory in nature. And so I wrote a short screenplay about this man who disrespects the wrong witch in Central Park and gets turned into a toad who cannot lie. And in order to become a man again, he has to find his true love and loyal heart to break the spell. But I decided that it should be about mating and dating. So you have the sugar daddy and the trophy wife kind of situation where it's all about what can that person do for me, and that's why the relationship is there. And then you've got the I can only marry the most perfect person in the world, otherwise I can't even spend any time talking to you if you're not my perfect match. And then there's the you fall in love with somebody and it doesn't matter that they're a toad, you just connect. And it's just, you just love it. The time that you spend with them and the conversations just don't stop. And you just can see yourself spending time with them. And so this is kind of what Purgatory, a love story is about. I'm not sure if I can make it. I would love to make it, but it requires a lot of basically, special effects. So I'm thinking about that. But in the meanwhile, I'm writing a 5-part series called The Lucky Gods about Taoist gods who live in a Buddhist temple. And as long as somebody prays to them once a year, they remain as ghosts in the temple. But if no one prays to them, then they disappear. And I had this idea because when my husband's parents died, they had all these photos. And we would look at them and we could maybe pick out his parents, but we didn't know who the other people were. We knew some, maybe we met, a mathematician or two, because my husband's father was a mathematician. But oftentimes we had no idea who they were, and I kind of thought, that's how people disappear. You don't remember them. And there are gods that you don't remember, gods, Greek gods or Chinese gods. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be interesting to make a film about gods needing to find a guardian. Well, so in this little temple, this is the other thing I found out, was that all temples are not run by monks or nuns, that sometimes you could have a family whose job it is to care for the temple. And it's often handed down from father to son to father to son like this. And I thought, well, what would happen if you had such a temple hidden away in New York City? It's pretty much forgotten. And the last caretaker is this old woman. She's 90. And she's kind of failing fast, and the gods are worried. Because she never married, she didn't have children, and there's no other guardian. And just by mistake, by happenstance, they realize that when they step out of the temple, they get their bodies back. But only for 3 days. And then I had to think, okay, well, which 3 gods would get out? Because that's the story right there, right? So I thought, I had to do so much research. It's years of researching different gods, and I finally found one thing that was amazing. There's a goddess of toilets and concubines. I know, can you imagine the chip on her shoulder? Because nobody would want to be next to her. But if you think about it, what would she be the protector of? Pipes, right? She would have to be protector of pipes and water and making sure that everything ran, And so I thought, she definitely has to get out. And then I found out that one of the 8 immortals, one of the highest of the gods of Taoism, there's a transgender God. And so I thought, oh, well, he needs to get out. She needs to get out. And in fact, she calls himself, she. And sometimes, depending on who's talking, sometimes they're he. So I thought, okay, so they have to get out.
Clever.
And then I needed to have a God who was going to be the stable one, in a way. And that one was the door god, one of the door gods. So there are always 2 door gods. And every Chinese New Year, they put a picture of the new door gods on the doors. And I thought, what would happen if only one of them got out, And all the other gods, because there's an accident, all the other gods get locked in, and these 3 gods get locked out. So it's the goddess of the toilets, he, she, and Qin Shabu, who's one of the door gods. And then what happens is that because Taoism is all about the ranking of gods, the god who is the highest rank is the he-she god, who is also called the fool. And the reason why they call him the fool is that he always tells the truth. Because a lot of, in Chinese, and also the French feel this way too, is that only children tell you the truth. As you get older, you're supposed to be more discreet and to say things in a roundabout way. You don't want to say to somebody you're fat. you might.
Well, in some countries that's not a.
Oh, right. In Chinese it's
bad,
not. But now it's changing because of fast foods has hit China. But yeah, so there's this idea that, and when he's put in charge, he's all about id. He does what he wants, and he just, there's a chance that he's not going to want to do the thing that needs to be done in order to find the next guardian. But along the way, I started to realize it's not just the guardian, because all churches, temple, mosques, it's not about who runs it, it's about the congregation, about the people who come and who take care of each other and who are part of the community. And so that's what the story ended up morphing to. This is a 5-part series about the discovery for the gods, that it's about the people who should come to the temple, and not so much only about the guardian.
I hope you make this movie because I want to see it.
Yeah.
I really hope you do. This is interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and I'm going actually to a writing workshop that Nora is also organized. So that's what I'll be working on for 3 weeks.
Film writing. Film writing.
Yeah, that's a screenplay. Yeah, writing. Yeah.
Screenplay. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you hear about Elba Film Festival actually?
Oh, through Nora.
Through Nora.
Because Nora's film played in the same festival as my film. And so I really liked her film. And so I didn't even realize that when I saw Elba, I thought, oh, I've always wanted to go to Elba. Because, you learn about it from Napoleon, right? But I always thought, oh, that would be so cool to go to Elba.
And
so
now you're here.
Yeah, I am. I'm so excited. This will be so great.
Yeah.
So I hope people will come. It'll be really fun. My film is the first one at 5 o'clock today, Thursday.
What was the name of the film again?
Artemis and the Astronaut.
Artemis and the Astronaut. I'm looking forward to see it. I hope you guys enjoy too.
Great.
Thank you, Alice.
Oh, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.